Hey, what's up? This is Rock and Roll James. Hashtag PVT. This is a one-on-one Gold Members Club exclusive with Jesse Turner. The latest Lex Friedman interview is with
Who's Lex Friedman?
Lex Friedman is this guy, watch.
Oh yeah.
And I've been tripping out with a Neuralink. There's a guy that they already put one in. It's a chip in your brain.
Oh.
You'll be able to control everything, your phone.
Like 10 miles outside of Rio or something. No.
You need to follow this guy, bro.
Who, Elon?
No, Lex Friedman.
Me and this guy named Paul Rosalie, who basically is...
Send that to me.
And so this guy, this one is like, it was one of the longest. It's 8 hours, but he's got Elon Musk. Mm-hmm. He's got the guy that has the Neuralink, who's a paraplegic. Mm-hmm. And then he's got the surgeon that puts the Neuralink in your brain. And it's about this big, bro. And the cables are like fucking
hairline.
And I was like, as they progress, it'll probably get smaller and smaller, right? But the one right now is like a quarter size.
So I remember,
and the biggest thing of the whole Neuralink is the battery. You have to recharge. So I'm like, I'm watching it because I want to know how the fuck are you going to recharge the battery? So it's the Neuralink and the future of humanity.
That's interesting.
Fuck yeah, dude. It's fucking interesting,
there's
bro.
one
and it's going to come?
No, it is going to come. There's one that was about 6 years ago. And there was a family on a trial. Mm-hmm. And basically what it is, it's a chip about the same, but it's not in your brain.
Yeah,
I believe it's somewhere in the back of your neck. If not, it's in your arm. It's somewhere where it doesn't bother you. Mm-hmm. But the reason that I knew about this chip is because alguien de la iglesia, ya viene Dios por nosotros y que the rapture's coming. And I'm like, why? And, man, haven't you seen the sign of the beast? Que ya viene, que... And I'm like, what are you talking about? Yeah, man, people are finally getting this chip, and with this chip, they know where you're at, your location. You're able to get a Coke, or you're connected to your bank account.
They'll learn your habits.
Yeah, they learn your habits, and I'm like, well, I mean, it's really up to a person if they want it, but I can so see it happening. Like it seems like our generations are getting lazier.
The thing about it is, there's pros and cons to it. You know,
yeah,
like, for example, you might not ever get Alzheimer's.
Really?
Yeah, because you just have to think, and it'll pop up. Like if you want to find out, like the definition of a word.
Well, this is a little bit super advanced. I haven't seen this one. I gotta see. Did you send it to me?
Yeah, and so you'll be able to control a robot with your brain.
So would you do it?
So if you have, I think I would. I mean, I'm almost 60, bro. So it's not like if I was 20, it's a little bit different. But I'll be 70 in 10 years. Where's this? If in 10 years I'm 70 and I'm starting to forget a lot of shit, you know what? I'll do it, But the thing is how much storage? It's like a phone.
You have to buy 2 terabytes to, if you want to upload more information, you have to upload.
Every time you're going to get a freaking message in your brain telling you if you want to get more storage, you need to pay, $10.99 more a month. So I really, there's still a lot of different things going on. And also, the surgery, AI will be able to
do surgery
on people. Yeah. And so that's a whole other thing.
No, créeme que I'm on that stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it, but outside of Signal, like this is what I'm, like I really, really, I'm into that stuff.
You have to stay,
You have to be up to date with all the information that's out in the world because it's free.
Yeah.
It's knowledge. And they always told me at school, hey, knowledge is the key to everything. So.
Would you get one?
Probably not. More than likely, no.
No? Mm-mm. Like with your son, bro? I mean, if it would be able to help him heal, can you imagine? Would you allow him to get it?
Probably not.
No?
No, porque...
There's that paraplegic. He's a paraplegic.
What is that? What is that? I'm sorry.
Nothing in his body. He's not mobile. I mean, like, from the head up, he's good. But from the neck down, he's paralyzed.
But so okay.
So he gets a Neuralink, and just thinking of something, it'll pop up, or it'll he can control the computer with his brain instead of having to push money and I mean buttons and do keyboard stuff.
Okay, but I mean, how do you replace a piece of a piece of your brain that's not there anymore?
It's gonna come. I mean, because they're gonna put it in this area of the brain that controls your hands. So it'll be like, and if you get a robot, the robot will be able to take care of you just by thinking of what you want it to do.
There's a movie out like this. First of all, I don't know. I have to really do my research, and I don't see it happening at all. And I'm going to tell you why. Because, te lo digo con todo respeto, porque la familia de ellos, they're the ones that told me about the chip in the first place. So to them, este es la marca de la bestia. This is a sign of the beast. So they're super Christian. They would not allow it, and I would respect that. Bottom line. And even if my son were to have this chip in his brain, right, I wouldn't want him to wake up to a different reality. You know, one, I can't walk. What happened? Where have I been? My son right now, he's in limbo.
Yeah.
You know, he's not here nor there. I've told you this before. Like, there's things that happen they're spontaneous, right? One time I was talking to him for my birthday. It was either for my birthday or for Christmas. I can't remember which one it was, right? And I was talking to him, and this is a true story. And I was telling him, Mijito, this is we're in the year 2000. I don't remember when it was, 2023. It's Christmas or it's my birthday. I can't remember which one it was. I go, the Texans are going to the playoffs, or, you know, I'm telling them just basically a breakdown of the year. Because I don't like to go see them. I know a lot of people probably will.
It's painful.
It's ¿cómo se dice? It's like it's traumatic for me. You walk into that room, you don't
sadness.
It's like a cloud of sadness. So, there's been an instant when I walk in, right, and I was talking to him, and I was telling him, ¿Qué esto pasó, verdad, mijito? He wouldn't respond. And then, like, I caught myself, right? Like, I thought I was crazy. I'm like, estoy loco. Like I felt like I was, so me agüité, right? I me agüité.
Yeah.
And I get on Facebook. I look down, and he's right here next to me. And I just start scrolling.
Yeah.
Right. And just right when I pick up my head, I look at him. His whole head has turned now to where I'm at. And he's like this.
He's happy.
Super happy. Hey, Rock, I grabbed my phone. And I said, nobody's going to believe it. The minute I pressed record, he was gone. Like, his eyes just.
Yeah.
And he.
Well, you know, that's something that you might think of, like, it might be painful to you, but it's joyful to him to see you.
I don't think it's that, Rock. I think it's more. Those moments are for me and not for anybody else to see. I think that he has moments with his mom, with people that go see him, and God will give him whatever energy or whatever it is to let him know that there is a God, right? Because a lot of us get disconnected and we get confused with religion, which is something that I don't really talk about, you know? But I have my relationship with God, and regardless of what I do, right? Because I was raised in a Christian church, you know? Before I started, I totally had to talk to my mom, and I told my mom, me das permiso. Me dijo, mientras que no te pierdas. And as long as you don't get lost, as long as you don't think you're bigger than that you don't think that you're famous and stuff like that. That's why I try to always stay humble. But there is certain things that'll happen in life that'll tell you God exists. I want to tell you a story that I've never said before. So, right, I think it was the year 2004. It was the year 2004, and my niece had left her bike right at the door, and I was still living with my mom. And ya estaba grande, ya teníamos 3 albums.
Yeah, we're progressing.
Yeah, no.
Had you already released Mejor Dímelo?
Yeah, no. We had already released album number 1, album number 2, and the third album was called Caminando. And I didn't even have a band anymore. They had already taken the van. I was sponsored by a dealership, but it was never
Willacy County, no. Rodriguez.
Don't even mention it.
Oh man, I remember him.
Sweet
He was
people.
a nice guy. Yeah.
Pero, I thought when it's sponsored, pues yo me quedo con ella, ¿no? Pero vinieron a levantar.
Sí, no.
So they came and picked
They
it up.
lease it to you.
Algo así.
Yeah.
So then when they came and picked it up, my mom was like, se están llevando la van. I'm like, está bien, mamá. But shortly after that, a few months later, like all the bad things started happening, right? Which was one day, again, my niece had left her bike outside, and my mom was, I guess, one of the dogs that we had was in heat. So all the dogs were trying to come into the property, to the
yard, yeah.
into the yard. So she wanted to go outside y cerrar la cerca because we have a fence. So right when she opened the door, she didn't see the bike and she stepped on the wheel, and boom, she went on the side y le pegó el cuerno aquí. El cuerno de la bicicleta, right? Like the handle of the bike hit her right next to her ribs. And then so she comes knocking on my door, and I'm like, Mom, ¿qué te pasó, Mom? She goes, la bicicleta me caí arriba de ella. And my niece is gone. It's just me, my mom, and my stepdad. Now, my stepdad slept in a different room. I don't know if it was out of respect for me or what, was because there was a moment in my life where I went to another school. Nobody knows this. I went to industrial high school.
Okay.
For like 3 months.
Where was that one at?
It's up by Vanderbilt, going up towards Etna, Texas. It's
okay.
I went with some friends of my neighbor. In that moment when I left to go try it, I wanted to go be at another school. I wanted to be like Will Smith. Like I wanted to be the Will Smith.
Yeah.
So I went in with colors and everything, and
new kid in town.
Yeah, and it was like it was just a new start for me, and it was pretty cool. But then I really missed my mom. So, but throughout that transition of where when I came back, my mom got married. So my stepdad made that house out of different houses that were torn apart, or hizo la casa con sus manos, and he was the architect. He wrote everything down and everything to the T. So when I come back, I have my own room, y él tiene una trailita afuerita, y de este lado to my right, el cuarto de mi mamá.
He was a carpenter.
Yeah. You open that door, era una puerta de tela. Like you open it and it's a screen door, in other words, right? So that day when my mom fell, that night, because it wasn't even day anymore, it was night. Man, I didn't know what to do. I'm like, ¿Quieres que le hable una ambulancia, ma? ¿Qué quieres que haga? I said, no más. Ya, me quiero acostar. So I go to my left to where my room's at, and I tell my stepdad, he has the Bible open and he's reading it. I never even called him Dad, Rock. I knew him since I was 3. He knew my real dad. I got to play all my instruments with this man, right? Está leyendo la Biblia, le dije, hermano Ruiz. ¿Qué pasó? Le dije, oye, se cayó mi mamá. No me digas. Ay, Diosito. Cierra la Biblia. He goes and attends to her. Meanwhile, I'm kind of like, I like to be real truthful. I was mad at my niece.
For leaving the bike there.
Yes. I was like, man, I'm like, so then I'm like, yeah, se me pasa, and I start putting on my clothes. So then I open the door. When I open the door, my stepdad's sitting with my mom on the bed, y le está sobando aquí despacio. Dije, mam, ahorita vengo. ¿Qué necesitas? Voy a ir a buscar una pomada o algo, no sé, algo que te pueda ayudar con dolor, porque de seguro te va a salir un moretón. You're gonna have some type of bruising or something. I go, let me go see what I can find.
And how old were you at this time? You were a teenager?
I was in my mid-20s already.
Oh, okay. All right.
I remember, I must have been like
25,
21 when I brought out
Signal?
the first album, yeah.
Okay.
So I was maybe about 24, 25, still living with my mom.
An adult.
Mm-hmm. So when I come back, pues I see the light of my stepdad, and I just peeked in there, and he had his Bible back open. I didn't tell him anything. I just went to my mom, and my mom tenía una maña de trancar la puerta. So when I tried to unlock it, I went like this. That meant she was asleep. I'm like, all right. Ni modo. I kid you not, I was on the phone with my girlfriend and she was somewhere, I don't remember where she was. And it was like at 1 something in the morning. And I clearly remember somebody opening the door, la puerta que está hecha de tela, the screen door. I hear it very clearly, Rock. I hear it and I hear the steps. Y dije, a ese Ruiz va a ir a agarrar pan dulce. Mm-hmm. He loved sweetbread, bro. And he liked waking up in the middle of the night. Not waking up, but being up. He liked going in the middle of the night, sneaking into the kitchen, getting some sweetbread and taking it with him. And I was on the phone with my girlfriend. Oye, pues que I get up because I didn't have a cordless phone. I still had the landline. So I was with the landline phone. I said, hey, I go. I va a Ruiz because he's going to go. Voy a agarrar pan dulce. Yeah. So I turn on my light, and when I look, because it's a hallway, well, there's nobody there. I clearly remember what I said. I said, me dio un escalofrío. Dije, aquí espantan.
Oh, yeah.
I said, aquí espantan. I said, hold on. I go to my mom's room, and I go like this, and it's locked. So then I come back. True story, Rock. This is a true story. A couple of minutes passed. Like I wasn't counting them, but it wasn't very many. No more than 10. Somewhere between 3 and 8 minutes. Somewhere in there. I hear the steps coming back. And I hear them clearly. So I said, man, aquí voy a pescar el que venga. So I kind of like run to the door, and I open the door. Whoom! And estaba mi mamá con su little flashlight. She goes, muchacho. Le dije, Mom. Le dije, ahorita fuiste al baño, hace rato saliste, ¿cómo te sientes? Le dije, no, apenas estoy yendo al baño, muchacho. Le dije, ¿cómo te sientes, mamá? My tone, everything changed. Bien. Le dije, Mom, ahorita no fuiste al baño. Le dije, no. ¿Quién está aquí? Nadie. ¿Estás bien, mamá? ¿Cómo te sientes? Bien, hombre. Ya, le dije, andas asustando a la gente. Right? She goes to the restroom, goes back, locked. In the morning, Rock, which is like at 7 something in the morning, viene y me levanta y me dice, mijito, levántate. I'm in my underwear. I'm like, ¿qué pasó, mamá? Le dice, háblale a la ambulancia. Le dije, ¿por qué, mamá? Le dice, porque Ruiz está malo. I'm like, okay. So I'm running because in the living room, we do have a cordless landline phone. Mm-hmm. So I go and I get it and I press 911. I'm on the phone and I run and then I don't even go to see what's wrong with them. I just figured, I don't know what's wrong with them. So I'm on the phone and I'm telling them, yes, I'm going to need an ambulance here to where my mom lives, and I'm giving them information. Then I walk into the room, and when I walk into the room, my stepdad is faced down like this, and he's in his underwear, and he's just like this, and when I touch him, he's cold. I just hung up the phone, and my mom walks in behind me. She goes, ¿Qué pasó? Le dije, Mom. Le dije, ¿ya no está, Mom? Le dije, ¿ya no está con nosotros, mamá? Y le hace. She starts crying y me dice, ahora sí, ¿qué voy a hacer? Dice mi mamá. Le dice, ahora sí voy a estar sola. Le dije, no, mamá. Le dije, a mí siempre me vas a tener, mamá. I'm always going to be here for you. So, fast forward. We have this beautiful service for him. Beautiful. I help organize it. I help put everything together. While his coffin is there in the front, I tell my mom, ¿te acuerdas que te dije que escuché? Ha de haber sido Ruiz, que ha de haber estado malo. Le dije, Mom, you don't get it. Le dije, no entiendes, mamá. I knew there was a God in that moment. I knew it. Because those kind of things don't happen. And I feel that something has to happen to people in order for them to believe. Whether if it's saved from an addiction, saved from a vehicle accident, or something that you can't explain, that people won't believe you. So I remember going to church and I would hear some testimonials that were like out of this world. I'm like, they're crazy. If I would have said this to other people, they would think I'm crazy. Just like the story that I was telling you about Jacob. You know, I sat there and then all of a sudden he's smiling. I want to show everybody. No, it's not for everybody, Dad. This smile was just for you. So I learned to put my phone down, you know. And life is, ¿cómo te digo? La muerte no tiene fecha. You know, la muerte viene para nosotros. There's no you're in the front, in the middle, in the back. No, it's got your name and your date on it, and period. And my mom wanted me to be a pastor, right? And I took a dive into it. And the reason I didn't become one was because I realized that I was never going to make everybody happy. I realized that everybody, instead of being united, they were separated. And instead of being informed, they were all confused. So I said, all I'm ever going to do is live the rest of my life fighting people that are within their own belief, and they're never going to agree. So what do I believe today? I believe that you need to have a relationship with God. I believe that God understands your confusion, and that if you truly look for him, you'll find him in your heart. And it's something I've never talked about, right? But
Yeah.
God is the best version of rock and roll, the best version of James. For me, it's the best version of Jesse. I always ask myself, have I given that today? Have I done that today? You know, I'm not perfect. We're all imperfect people.
It's a daily inventory.
So what I do is I respect everybody's religion, and I'll listen to them, and I'll take whatever's in that I feel is correct. I'm like, hey, I'm with you, brother. Yes, yes, yes.
It's called tolerance.
It's called tolerance. And I never get into these religious disagreements. I don't engage like that.
It seems like the Christian religion or the Christian faith is the one that's usually attacked the most by, people that don't believe.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like they ever just, want to like attack the Muslim faith.
Yeah.
Because we're so tolerant that we're forgiving. That is the whole idea of the faith, right?
I believe that's one, but probably the main one is that's the main religion here in the United States. So I try to just, I believe, right, that the correct religion, the very first religion that we can all agree on, I always tell people, let's not fight, man. I said, I believe that the right religion is love. That with love, we can talk about whatever it is. And we can agree to disagree, but at the end of the day, if we do it with love, we'll find knowledge. And if we find knowledge, then we've found God. If we found peace within ourselves, then we found God. If we came to an agreement, and even if we agreed, at least we were able to engage in a good conversation of, let me go home and do my homework.
Yeah.
And you know what? Speaking of death, I don't want to spend. I didn't come here to talk about just that.
Oh no, it's interesting. I'm very interested in this.
Fíjate que acaba de hablando que la vida es tan corta, ¿verdad? I don't know. Did you ever get to meet Plácido?
No, I didn't.
But everybody told you about it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me tell you my story. Remember in your first podcast when I went. And we did the whole how was Signo made, and I told you the Ruben Vela.
Yeah, and that was it was pre-recorded shows.
Yeah.
It was at my house on. Yeah, I remember.
Well, I believe that I told you the story of there was an accordion en la esquina de la iglesia, and I said, well, los hijos eran del pastor, and the drummer, which was Jacob, he had a double foot pedal. And I wanted to get my foot on. I wanted to get my hands on that double foot pedal just to go because I didn't know how to use one. And I was so intrigued with it. Right, I really wanted to know, how does this work?
Yeah.
I never had the chance. Like, he would let me play a song and I had to get off. And I'm like, man, I want to be part. And this was Signo. Jacob was my drummer. Joel was a Bajo Sexto player, but he was playing guitar. And Joseph Scott was on the bass. And there was no congas. And that's it. And we would alternate on the instruments.
The basic necessities.
That's it. But there was an accordion there in the corner that had my name on it. It was out of tune. It didn't even sound right. It was a Honor. And I said, well, I might as well start playing this accordion. So, we started playing, and I started playing alabaré, alabaré, alabaré. Hay poder, sin igual poder en Jesús. I started learning all these coritos, and this is how I'm beginning to learn how to play the accordion. And it's very simple. Like, I really don't like it, but I realize that something's going on with the people in the service. All of a sudden, everybody's like, tan más alegres, estamos tocando cumbias, estamos tocando rancheras. So then we're like, hey, guys, we got to start practicing. We got to start practicing. So we start spending hours at church practicing. So this is a true story.
Well, playing there live like that is the best practice because, but anyway, you got together and you practice it.
We practice. So I have this itch back here. We start all of a sudden, I said, you know what? Before we go into this, I don't remember what corito it was, right? Which was a hymn, right? Mm-hmm. I go, let's play. I remember I grabbed the chord and I went, 1, 2, 3. Ran, ran, tan, tan, tan. Tran, tran. I was playing un rinconcito, bro. Uh-huh. But it's because I don't think people were ever looking at my intention of wanting to learn. What they were listening to was un rinconcito y alabaré, alabaré.
Pero es en el cielo. I mean, un rinconcito en el cielo.
No,
I mean, that's heaven,
qué rinconcito ni que nada. Me regañó el pastor.
Man, because that's secular music.
Yes, he said, que no estén tocando eso aquí. And I'm like, pues me agüité, ¿verdad? So it was like, I couldn't really, that's as far as I could go there. So, on one of those days, right, I'll remind you, I was like 15, 16 years old. I don't remember. I was super young. Y pasa Plácido Lopez in his truck, and Ricky Bob, right? Rick Diaz.
Okay.
They pass by and they hear the noise and they pass back. Wait, pues, like, in one of those, they figured out when church service was. They came in once and they sat in the back and they left, and then they came back and then they waited for me to come outside. And they're like, hey, man, we like the way you play. And this is Plácido and Rick. Mm-hmm. They were the ones that took me out of church, Rock. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean that in a bad way.
They planted the seed for secular music for you.
No, Rock, don't say it like that, dog.
Well, I mean...
No. Listen to me.
It's nothing bad. I mean...
Me dicen, how would you like to play at a talent show? And I said, yeah. I go, where? At the Harlingen South High School Auditorium, a cafeteria. And I said, yes.
Girls.
Not many pensé girls. Not many girls.
I want to go play and go meet girls. Yeah.
No, I was thinking.
It's out of my jurisdiction and, new people.
Yeah, I was asking all the dumb questions. Hey, man, but am I allowed? Because I'm from Santa Rosa. I'm from Santa Rosa and I'm a warrior. And I don't know if they're going to let me play at your school, man. Because don't you need, like, for UIL? And I started asking, and they're like, nah, dude, it's just a talent show. Mm-hmm. It's after hours. And we're just going to play 1 or 2 songs. And, bro, me and Joseph ended up forming part of their Los Gavilanes del Sur, which was the Harlingen South.
Oh, yeah, the Hawks.
The Hawks, yeah. Long story short, man, just yesterday at 1 p.m., I knew what was going on in the moment that it was happening. He went to the arroyo, and he got into the water, and he had a small cut, or some type of cut on his leg, and he got a staph infection. Mm-hmm. He ends up getting chills and fever.
Yeah, that's bad.
And then so by the time he gets to the hospital, before he goes to sleep, apparently, he was feeling the anxiety, and from what I know, right, from what I gathered, is they kind of gave him a heads up, hey, we might have to amputate your leg.
Yeah, it's dangerous. Very dangerous.
He closed his eyes, and he never woke up. He passed away yesterday at 1 o'clock, 1:03.
I think I saw Lucky Joe post something about it as well.
So
and I was trying to recognize him, and I couldn't. But I'm glad you're telling me the story, man. My condolences to you and your friends and everybody in his family.
Ya lloré todo lo que podía, Rock. It's so weird, man. It's
well, the older we get, the more people we start losing that haven't had any type of impact in our lives. And that's why when I was talking to you about,
Mira, I want to show you something. I know people aren't going to be able to see it.
You could just face it at the camera.
Look, that was Placido right there.
Yeah. Can you see it? Okay.
Yeah, wait. And there's Ricky Bob. Look at how young we were, bro.
You were kids, man.
Look at
With
me.
a dream.
Look at there's Josh, right? That was Josh, right?
And Polaroid pictures,
And
no
then
phone.
There was Joseph Scott,
Yeah, I remember Joseph. He was with you for quite a while.
and then there was me.
Let me see. We can make that. Okay.
Look at those big ears.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, man. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, man. So you know
look
what?
back and
So when Placido leaves, or when people leave, they take a part of you with them. It saddens me. It saddens a lot of us, because when people leave, they take a part of you. And in this moment, pues, he's taking that door that he opened.
yeah.
If Placido hadn't taken me out of this is a true story.
Isn't that crazy?
No. Here's a crazier story. You want to know what my last words to him were? We were playing at the Bird Ogden Arena at the Cásate Conmigo tour. You remember the sound system didn't want to get going?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he comes to the side with Edgar para saludarme. He goes, "Hey, carnalito." I said, "Hey." He goes, "I'm so proud of you, carnalito. I'm so proud of you." And I said, "Man," I go, "are you kidding me?" I go, "This is you." I go, "It's E." I remember, le dije, Placido, le dije, "No," le dije, "thank you." Le dije, if you wouldn't have taken me out of where I was, I wouldn't have become who I am today.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be who I am today. He goes, "Nah, carnalito." He grabs my face. And he goes, "Nah, man, you're good, man." And le di un abrazo. Le dije, "Thank you, man." Le dije, "I love you, bro." He goes, "I love you too, carnalito." He was such a great spirited person, bro. But no, pues se nos fue.
El plan, bro.
El plan.
Nadie sabe el plan.
Nadie sabe el plan.
Y si piensas ya as we grow older and we look back on our lives, it starts making like sense.
Absolutely.
It's crazy. But
Absolutely.
That's the beauty of getting older,
Like even our journey, like even the times that we've had interviews, even the times we talked on the phone, it's all one crazy story that we'll be able to go back and say, yeah, me and Rock did that. yeah, I banged up Rock's Mustang.
Yeah. Every time I see an old van like that, I take a picture or video and I send it to Jesse.
Absolutely. A constant reminder.
Yeah. But, we're talking about, if you'd ever get that Neuralink, the chip, and then you were saying about, that's the number of the beast and, the stuff like that. Do you think that God has anything to do with technology?
I don't know, man. I think that God gave man knowledge to do good, but in a lot of good that we do, people also do bad. With good intentions. Albert Einstein did not want to make that nuclear atomic bomb. That he said it was like one of his biggest mistakes. Did you know that? I believe.
I know there's a guy named Oppenheimer that was a guy that put it together and built it. There's a movie on it, as a matter of fact.
Or maybe it was
Have you seen it?
Yeah. It's an amazing movie. It seems boring, but
did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it.
I haven't seen it.
I don't know if it was Albert Einstein or if it was him.
Yeah.
That said that doing this was the biggest mistake for humanity. You know that it only takes 2 nuclear bombs for us to.
But in another sense, you can think that it's kept everybody in line. You know what I mean? Because everybody's got them. And they know as soon as they use it, it'll be the destruction of, the United States used it on Hiroshima and I think Nagasaki in Japan in World War II, and it ended the war. But they would do that today. The U.S. would be, it's not.
It would affect the whole entire world. There's a video. It's called TED. It says TED, and there are people that go and talk on.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I've seen that.
Look up the one that says, what would one nuclear bomb do in a small country to the rest of the world?
Yeah.
You know,
It's because of the winds, like we get the Saharan dust here. We get all these kinds of the smoke from Chiapas, Mexico. It ends up infiltrating the Rio Grande Valley. So the wind carries the radioactivity as
you know
well.
how many disasters? You know how many disasters we've heard on Earth apparently recorded to science? Do you know?
Well, I mean, you've got volcanoes, you've got earthquakes, you've got meteors,
But do you know, according to science and according to the studies, how many times Earth has been destroyed, completely destroyed, almost annihilated? Very interesting.
Probably about maybe once or twice. I know one of them is the speculation is that that a meteor destroyed the dinosaurs. So.
Well, I don't think it's
and created an ice age, volcano.
Do you know why?
Why is that?
Well, first of all, there's been 5 major disasters. And how are they able to see this? Because they're able to see the layers of the earth and the different bones and the different fragments that they find. And they're able to tell the disasters that we've had, right? So we used to be one giant continent, right? So when the last destruction of Earth happened, I don't remember the exact time or when, right? Because I don't want to sound all knowledgeable up here, but I do know that when that meteor hit, it was like about the size of 5 football fields, if I'm correct. And when it hit in the Yucatan Peninsula, that area, in the moment that it hits, it shoots up way up in the sky, causing this rocks hit all the way to Canada. Can you believe that? Mm-hmm. And then water ends up becoming ice, and therefore the dinosaurs become extinct for like for like about 10 years.
Yeah.
We go 10 years without vegetation because everything is just like a giant cloud of cancer and dust. And the only things that survive are things like the alligator, the whale, and the hippo, and all these.
The roaches.
Yeah, los cucarachas. Yeah. And even after that, mi mamá todavía tiene el white chalk que mata las cucarachas en la casa. Y todavía siguen viviendo, carnal.
Sí. Yeah. It's crazy because I remember hearing a story in Siberia, which is nothing but snow and ice. Mm-hmm. It's in Russia. Okay. They excavated some woolly mammoths. Okay. Mm-hmm. And they took them to an area, and they opened them up, and they had fresh hay in their stomach.
That's interesting.
And they were like, how can they have fresh hay in their stomach if they're in an area where there's nothing but ice?
Yeah, well, they were frozen.
And so they were speculating that there was an axis shift in the earth where it just changed, and the places that were tropical turned, with ice, got frozen. And so apparently they're speculating that the woolly mammoths were grazing at the moment, and then the axis shift happened so fast that they weren't able to escape, and they froze while they were eating grass.
I'm having a very interesting moment right now. I feel like I'm on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, bro. Like, a lot of people don't realize that we think about all these things.
No, we do, man.
And that's why I'm going back to that.
We don't talk about it.
That God being, having anything to do with technology. Because I asked you if you'd ever get the chip or the Neuralink. I said, why not? I'm almost 70. 10 years, 12 years away. You're a lot younger than, well, not very much younger, but you're about 10 years younger than me. And
I wonder if,
and then we spoke about your son, maybe if it would help him as well. And you were saying, that
more than likely
they're telling you it's like the number, or it's
a sign of the beast.
A sign of the beast. Now, I mean, so then obviously you don't think that God has anything to do with the creation of these types of technology? Or?
Well, I said that I believe that God has given man to do good and bad. ¿Entiendes? God has given us one thing, Rock. Do you know what that is? He's given us free will. Aparte de nuestra vida, he gave us free will. I spoke at 3 different services for the children in Uvalde. Right? When I spoke at those services, the top question for me was, why? And I said, unfortunately, because God gave man free will. And some people are not right from their head. And because some people are not right with their head, there's casualties. And there's people that come across these casualties. Things that people, I'm not talking about that specific event, right? But there's people that you really have to take a dive into why some people have chemical imbalances. And all people think is no, pues tiene el diablo.
Well, there's a lot of things that I think about, like medicating kids, that are in school that have a certain ADHD or have something. Right away, they want to, throw some pills in them and, calm them down and stuff like that.
I know.
So there's a lot of man-made stuff that they're pumping in the kids that, you might have an effect on with their adult life.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. I mean, this is why I was saying, so when I spoke at these services, right, I said, God doesn't want this for the children. God doesn't want for my son to be in a vehicle accident. My son, God doesn't want anybody out there to have cancer. God didn't want my friend Placido to go on the arroyo and get an infection and pass from it. God didn't want that. But unfortunately, it's life. It's life. If you read the Bible, you can read it however you want. The Bible says that God will come for you when you least expect it. So make your peace, love your neighbor, love your friends, do all the kind gestures you're supposed to do today, because tomorrow you might not have a chance. It says it. Now, for me, there is a lot of good things. Like, for example, technology has technology has somewhat helped my mom, because there's medication that helps her control her diabetes and cholesterol. But come on, Rock. Is it really helping her? Or is it cutting her life a little bit short? Because those medications have long-term effects. We all know this. But it's just like we don't know. Everything seems to be a business out there.
I feel that the medications, they kind of like stunt the body and the immune system from working on its own. Mm-hmm. Because once you get off of them, forget it. You can never get off of them after all, because your body becomes accustomed to the medication, and without the medication, it will never function. Where there should be an area where you can be able to change your lifestyle and build your body to a point where it can fight off infection, or it can fight off a virus, or stuff like that. Let me ask you: if you were given the opportunity to take some sort of technological advancement that would make you immortal, and would help you live forever, would you do it?
Absolutely not. What would I want to be doing forever when this earth gets destroyed? What am I going to be doing?
We don't know if it's going to get destroyed.
Of course it is.
Well, you never know.
It's going to get destroyed, Rock. Not by us, but according to science, every there's a sun that dies. It takes millions and millions of years, but you're talking about immortality. It's like that. Haven't you seen the movie of the girl that she lives and doesn't die? Have you seen that movie?
Mm-mm.
Is it? I can't remember the name of the movie. I know somebody will.
Because that technology is coming, Jesse.
Me personally, Rock.
Would you want it for your mom?
No. My mom wouldn't want it for herself. My grandma's 106. She's about to be 107 in September.
I know you went to visit her, right? We're in Mexico.
And you know what my grandma says?
That's crazy. That's awesome.
Me agarra la mano mi abuelita y me dice, mijito, ora por mí. Ora para que Dios ya venga por mí.
Yeah.
Plus, what would happen if this was available for everybody and everybody got to live forever? And then we'd be heavily populated.
Isn't that crazy?
It would be a disaster.
Well, what they're coming up with, they're called nanobots, and they're injected into your bloodstream,
mm-hmm.
and they will be able to, if a cancerous tumor pops up in your body,
mm-hmm.
the nanobots will go to it and start destroying it.
That's interesting. But
it'll keep you from dying of cancer.
Of cancer? Well, that's a good thing. I highly doubt that the pharmaceutical companies are going to allow this to happen.
I know because
the pharmaceutical they're billions and billions of dollars industry.
yeah.
So look,
they rely on people continuing with the medication.
Look. So man, I'm one of these people. I know people are probably going to trip out with this on this particular podcast, right? Pero nos vamos en buenos viajes because we want to know, right? So I've seen I don't know how many documentaries. And we've never talked about this. Is the first time we're talking about something like this. We've talked about other crazy things, not about this, right? But let me tell you and let me inform people, right, of some, I love you, Raymond, pero ya sabes, I'm gonna go down Raymond Horta's
rabbit hole.
I'm gonna go down Raymond Horta's rabbit hole, but not in a bad light, carnal. I love you, but he knows this and he's gonna agree with me. Do you know who gives the antibiotics, and do you know who keeps the chickens and the cows and the pork and then the pig, right? Who keeps these animals fed and healthy, and who gives them their nutrition? Who gives them not the food, but the injections and their health? Do you know who gives it to them?
Pharmaceuticals, pharma companies.
Yeah, and then
they give them steroids and
making the chicken bigger, making the chicken be born like in 28 days or something like that. When it used to be like 38 days, and now it's like it's ready in like 29.
They also keep them under light 24 hours so they can feed all day and night.
And then they say
crazy.
They say cage free because they're not in a cage; they're in a freaking barn. And they can't even walk.
Or they let them out of the cage for an hour a day, and it's cage free. Like they're not lying,
No, they're not lying, and that's where those are like and I hope we don't get in trouble, right? If I don't need that was rock.
No, we all eat chicken, man. We all eat pollo, but not many people know where it comes from or how it's done.
So the pharmaceuticals give the animals its vitamins, but these vitamins are meant for these animals to grow faster. Same thing with seeds. Do you realize why the little airplane never comes down anymore? Do you know why?
Remember that the crop dusters?
Do you know why they're not around anymore?
Why?
Because the seeds now have the seeds are made with pesticide.
Yeah.
So we don't need the.
They're making super seeds.
Yeah, these seeds, and I mean the farmers, they're not allowed to even have these.
Well, that's in a sense that's a good thing because for the farm worker,
no, it's not. It's
because back then all that stuff they were spraying on the was causing cancer as well.
The pesticide is built with the seed. Who's eating the tomatoes?
Yeah.
Who's eating the lettuce?
Yeah.
Who's eating the broccoli?
We are. And that's why it's causing also a lot of allergies in people.
No. It gets better than that. These are the reasons why we get sick. So, right, the animals, we are fed these animals and we eat these animals, right? Or vegetables. It's like we're screwed from no matter where you go. It's like no matter what we eat, we're in some sort of danger. So we have to be real picky and real careful with what we eat, right? We eat whether it was the pork, the chicken, or the beef, we eat it. We get sick. Who do we go to? The pharmaceuticals.
To fix us. To get it, make us better.
Yeah. And who long needs this business? Yeah. Hospitals. Insurances. So going back to your question, there's always a lot of good, but there's always a bad intention. No matter what industry it is, there's always just bad intentions by people. Always. It doesn't matter where you go. Look at the music industry. Look how many people have done me wrong.
I know, bro. That's crazy. And I wanted to ask you about that. You started a management company, which is something you had never done before, right?
I didn't want it. I really didn't want it. I was like, I don't got time for this. Y se me hacía bien fácil, because we had talked to Victor Hugo, right? And promised us the moon and the stars. And I don't mean anything bad.
Victor Hugo is...
he's the one that has a VHR. VHR. Yeah, it's a VHR. Yeah, is it VHR?
The Victor Hugo I know is Hugo de la Cruz's son.
No.
Ese es otro.
No. VHR is Frontera.
Okay.
he was managing Frontera.
Okay.
And I believe he still has a parranda.
So he has a management company.
Absolutely. But he had the number one band in the world, which was Frontera.
Yeah.
And he really wanted us back then. And he saw me somewhere, and he really wanted Signal. So when I finally leave Azteca Records and I go look for him, he was super interested. No más que, I don't blame him, bro. He had the number one band in the U.S. And I said it with the good light. I never bring anybody down. So he didn't have time for us. And he promised that he did, but he didn't.
Yeah.
You know, and unfortunately, it was a very hard lesson learned because it was in that year that we went through some real hard moments, like the band. Excuse me. I'm talking about the level of like popularity, our music, not bringing anything out. It just started doing this.
What year was that?
It wasn't too long ago. It was like maybe...
before the COVID or after?
No, it was after COVID.
Okay.
You're talking about recently.
Okay. 2021, 22.
So, you know, Jessica and Yvette come up with the idea of, let's make a management company.
They're both your road managers, right?
At the time.
At the time, yeah, because I knew Jessica, and I knew Yvette as well. Yvette.
At the current time, they were coming along together to, and they wanted to use my name. And they said, you know what? Well, let's just go with JT Entertainment. And I'm like,
but what made them decide that they wanted to do a management company with you?
Pues Victor was making it sound so easy.
Okay.
That they didn't have to do anything. So they said, well, you know what? Let's find something to do. So then we had Lucky Joe.
Okay.
We had Lucky Joe,
Your first.
Fidencio, and Grupo Asalto.
Okay.
Right? And I was really not even paying attention to that. I said, well, you guys do what you guys do.
But they put your name on it as the brand for.
Yeah, JT Entertainment.
Yeah.
They put my brand name on it, but I'm not involved. I just said I'll oversee things like music and stuff like that. Pero I have my own stuff to like really focus on, right? So then it starts, and I realize that Lucky's working more than me. We go like 2 months, almost like a month and a half without work, and Lucky's just working.
But the charge scale is different, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. The thing is that he's working and we're not. And I'm like, and I'm not thinking anything negative. I'm just like, I'm beginning to see the truth to why we're not working. And I don't blame anybody. Victor didn't do anything bad to me other than just he just stalled. He just made me wrongfully spend my time in a moment where it was crucial for my band because we had just come out of a different management.
Yeah.
Right?
And what management was that you had gotten out of?
It was with BLG.
BLG, and who was running that?
Adrian Gallegos.
Adrian Gallegos. And what happened that you decided to get out of his label or management and start yours?
I'd rather not say, man.
Okay.
But the promoters know.
Okay.
My friends know.
Was there some type of, mishandling of funds and stuff like that?
I'm not going to get into that topic, but I will tell you that people know me and people know Adrian. People know me and people know Adrian. And that's all I can really say. I can't really get into any more detail about it. And
is there any type of legal stuff going on right now with that?
No.
And so
no.
And you can't get into it because
I'd rather not talk about the guy because look, he did a lot of good for me. He brought me out of I was in a bad place, in a bad hole, coming out of another bad management company.
Yeah.
Not even a company, an individual. He left me in a very horrible place, and Adrian helped me, and he lifted me. Pero es como dicen, nadie te va a ayudar nomás por ayudarte. Vienen con intenciones.
And maybe not at that moment, but as it starts growing and getting bigger.
As it gets bigger, I mean...
Minds start changing. And,
absolutely, man. You know...
and intentions.
Yeah, y ¿sabes lo que me dijeron últimamente? Pues, when they're bringing you a plate, ¿cómo comes la comida? How do you eat?
Pues con un tenedor y con un...
But what do you eat with first?
What do I eat with first?
Yeah.
¿Cómo dices?
When they bring you a plate, what are you eating with first? you're eating with your eyes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Uno empieza a ver, y empieza a comer con los ojos. I give all the credit to all the great things he did, you know. But there came a time in my life where I said, you know what?
It ran its course.
It ran its course. It's time for me to go somewhere else. And I tried it. And I learned a lot of valuable lessons, Rock. Right? I never wish bad on anybody. Anybody. I don't wish anybody bad.
Would you ever trust him again?
I wouldn't work with them again.
But you trust him. You would trust him.
I wouldn't work with them again.
So that automatically says you won't trust him ever again.
I mean, you can make your own conclusion out of what I'm telling you, right? Or you can read between the lines, como dicen, but I'm not gonna. I'd rather not get into that because I feel that I already got into it deep enough. I will repeat myself. Everybody knows Jesse, and people know Adrian, and some people continue working with them. It's interesting. They continue working with them, and it's interesting because they know him and they know me. And they know my heart and how big my heart is.
And he's grown. He's got connections, too, to help him out, I guess, you know, right? The musicians and the bands.
Pues sí, le deseo lo mejor. Le deseo lo mejor. Yo no tengo nada negativo que decir de nadie. You asked me you asked me if I would work with him. Absolutely not.
And so you got out of his
and then so
management, and you
coming back to lo de Victor Hugo, right? I said, man, Lucky's working more. So then I said, you know what? I'm just gonna roll with my company, not having to give any percentages to nobody, not having to worry about any of this stuff. It became a struggle, Rock. It became an interesting next chapter of my life that also left me speechless.
It's so hard for you as a musician and an artist to, it'll affect your creativity when you have to deal with other stuff that's outside your musical realm.
Maybe,
you know,
maybe Rock, maybe because all these bad things that have happened to me, right? When these things happen to me, when negative things happen to me, for some reason it fuels me. For some reason, it's like grabbing the charcoal and throwing it inside that train. And it makes me want to succeed more.
Te dan ganas de ganar más.
It drives me. It drives me to want to be great. It drives me to want to be truthful, to be honest, even to the artists that came into the JT Entertainment. Unfortunately, one by one, they started leaving, and some worked, some didn't. Each one had its own reason. Each one has a character.
That's interesting because you once you got the word out, you know, you got Jennifer Peña to sign up with you.
At AB.
AB was before Jennifer, right? I remember you calling me, and I answered the phone, and it was AB on the line. Yeah. And I was like,
I was trying to make peace between you two guys.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know if that'll ever happen, and it doesn't matter if it does or it doesn't, you know, but you know, I mean, I do respect everything that he's done in the music industry. Absolutely. And all that. But I was really happy for you. I said, man, he's got AB. He's a well-known name. And then you got Jennifer. You had that Grupo Asalto. They were one of your first ones. And it seemed that those three artists was like...
I had Lucky and I had Fidencio Ayala.
And Lucky's still with you or no?
Lucky's still with me, bro.
Orale. Yeah, so it seemed like the other three artists were like, they were short-term.
Yeah.
And so...
They were.
There wasn't any type of contractual agreement that you all signed where, like, okay, you got to be with us at least a year and give us a shot to be able to build something. Here's
again, because this is, if you really want to know the story, you really got to be a member, because if not, you're not going to get the full story. This is it. I'm going to tell you the truth, and the truth about certain things, right? One, Asalto, right? They're a good band. I'm so focused on Signo, but I really want to help him. I speak to Jordan, and I realize that Jordan's got some problems that are personal. But in my heart of heart, in mi corazón de oro, I want to help him. Because in every young man, I see my son. I truly want to help him. So we start working, pero what I've learned, Rock, is that everybody's got a character that now Jesse Turner has to cater to this guy, has to cater to this person, in the sense of like, what is it that, what are your goals? And I'm going to help you try to reach them. But things are not going to happen overnight. Mm-hmm. And one thing I'm never going to do is I'm never going to screw you over. Never, ever. They can say whatever they want on social media. I have never screwed anybody over. I've never taken what was not mine. Why? Because it's been done to me.
I've never heard anything like that about you.
No, and it was never like that. The thing is, he became impatient. Jordan became impatient, and I don't know. He had some beef going with Yvette, right? And
he left with some animosity towards you guys, right? I mean,
yeah, I mean,
I heard that he was. I didn't read any of the content that he was putting up on social media, but I had heard that he was like, talking really bad and stuff. Or,
no, and
on
he,
podcasts and stuff like that.
He was, man. He was, and to me, I don't entertain that shit. I'm sorry. Like, I don't.
You don't react.
No, I said it before, and I'll say it again. Look, when people say things, right, in life, it's this big.
But was it that bad for him to?
It wasn't, Rock. It wasn't bad.
To go that far?
Hombre, lo que pasa es que I'm not going to get into the all the negative things that he's gone through, because I've dissected him mentally of who he is and what he stands for, right? And I'm not going to do that to him, because he's also an artist and I want him to succeed. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to break him here on this podcast and make him look bad. I'm not trying to do that.
No, we're not saying that. It's just an explanation.
He's got talent, but he was impatient. He wanted gigs like tomorrow, and it doesn't work like that. Yeah. Whenever you sign to an agency, you better be willing to wait about 6 months to even get started, because there's steps, right? There's steps. First step is, okay, what music do you have, and what are you putting out, and then you got to create. I'm going to come back to this, right? You got to create this buzz, right? So, anyways, what he didn't know was that I had spoken to a record label, and I had a record deal for him. The next thing you know is he's becoming impatient. Yvette says, well, he's gone. I said, all right, he's gone. It's okay. On to the next thing. That they're beefing on social media. I don't care. Like,
then AB comes along.
Did
he contact you, or did you contact him?
I don't quite remember. I don't know. But we spoke and we hit it off. Mm-hmm. We hit it off, man, and we're like, let's do this, and we went and we recorded a song, and we did. I mean,
what was the song y'all recorded?
Yo No Fui.
Okay.
Which is his latest single, by the way. Go support it. We're not on it, but somebody else is. Sí. Pero no importa. Like it's music is music, man, and he's a musical genius. But me and him had a moment that only belongs to me and him. Él también. He had some things that he didn't like the way we as a company worked, and he had something to say. And I said, hey, carnal, why don't you call me tomorrow when
the heat is a little bit lighter? Yeah, calm down and let's talk,
Yeah. Pero it was like he never called me back, and I never made him sign anything. And it was okay with me. Like, I mean, no me da vergüenza that it didn't work out.
What kind of perception did you get of AB by working with him and all that?
That he lacks friends. I feel that he lacks good friends, and I could have been one.
Do you think he has issues trusting people and stuff like that, or?
Oh yeah, I think he's just been. When he tells you that, I know for a fact that he's emotionally scarred. He is. And this is not to defend the guy. No. The guy has been through some heavy stuff. Mm-hmm. And constant reminders of it is like PTSD. It is. I can't make excuses for what the guy says on stage or for what he does. I can't. But do I respect him as a musician and as a human being? Absolutely. Like, I'm not like, again, So hold on, going back to Jordan. Jordan blocked me on everywhere, on Instagram, Facebook.
From Asalto,
Yeah, for no reason. Like I'm like, okay, well, whatever, you know. Like I didn't even. It is what it is.
Yeah, he didn't want you seeing all the shit he was posting about you, probably.
I don't know. I didn't entertain it.
Yeah.
But le deseo lo mejor. I still do, right? And AB,
He blocked me.
with AB, we had a discussion one night, and it was just it was for me and for him. And no quiero que le vaya mal a él tampoco, a nadie.
Neither do I, bro.
No, I know, Rock. Look,
you know me, bro.
No, I know, but you know, for me, right? But what I got out of talking to him and being with him, I got a lot of happiness and a lot of joy. Forget all the negative shit, right? I got joy. Look, let's go back to Asalto. I got joy out of working with him and watching him try to sing a song for 14 hours, the same song. But I was there, maybe 12 hours, and then in 2 hours, I aventó el acordeón. But I sincerely had joy in my heart helping him. Did I get paid for it? Was I charged? No. I got joy hanging out with AB, recording the song, being in the studio with him, hearing his stories, seeing a side of him that nobody gets to see. I got to see that side of him. But you can't control the uncontrollable. You know, AB's AB.
Mm-hmm.
And I have nothing else to say on that. It ended with the conversation between me and him, and that stays between us because I'm not gonna go there. One, it just.
How long did he stick with you, or did you did he even do a show with you, or
we didn't even have a chat? I mean,
you didn't get a chance to book him at least once?
Nah, we had the bookings ready to go, but
he bailed out.
He bailed out, and we respected that.
Yeah,
y no pasa nada. Es como dice, no pasa nada.
Move forward.
Yeah, and then comes along. After that, Nathan came along.
Nathan Acosta.
And I reached out to him. He didn't reach out to me. I reached out to him.
And you found him on TikTok and
on Instagram.
Instagram.
And he was singing a song from Singing. I'm like, man, who is this kid?
He's very talented, the kid.
And I started looking at all the other stuff he would sing, and I'm like, man, and then the way he played the accordion, he's one of a kind, Rock.
Mm-hmm. You see it in him.
So you remember that deal that I told you that I had for that other band? Guess who they gave it to? Nathan.
And he's recording. That his new video out.
I got him signed to.
The song is sort of biographical because it was something that happened to him.
It's a story about. It's a story about.
We spoke about it on hashtag PVT on one of the Wednesday with Checo.
Did you see when he told you that we cried about it?
Mm-hmm.
Y tú le dijiste, but if you talk to Jesse, you're always gonna cry.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so you remember me saying. I have always wanted to help young people. Always. Within the music industry. You know, if you look him up and you type in Nathan Acosta missing, even though you guys laughed about it, the kid was lost for like 2 days or something. Mm-hmm. And he was just walking, and he was heartbroken. I spoke to you about this heartbreak. You're between life and death, and you don't even realize it. Like, I tried taking my own life, you know? I tried a lot of stupid things. But when I was talking to him, I realized that I felt like I was talking to myself. He was supposed to be the singer for Grupo Secreto. And they told him he was going to be it. And they ended up going with Javi, which was cool for Secreto and Javi. But they left this kid heartbroken. No bad blood there, right? No, it happens. He was still in high school. But my reasons, right, are because I can't help my boy anymore.
So that's your outlet right now, just to help other kids, other youngsters.
It's not so much kids, it's this kid. Mm-hmm. And even the one that I was trying to help before. I want nothing but good things for people. You know, I tell him, man, we were playing up in Fort Worth, and he stole the show from me, right? He steals the show from me, and I'm in the back crying. He viene y me pregunta, why are you crying? I said, man, because I was Jacob, could have been playing with him. Because everything I was doing was for my boy. My son would tell me, Dad, how come you pay me so little? Like, because I'm investing in you. Like, little do you know that all this is going to belong to you one day. Right? Little do you know that all this is going to one day belong to you. But my boy can't get up, Rock. Even if it was with technology, my son would probably hate me if I connected him to a chip that could make him move things and do things, because my son cannot run, walk, and physically play an instrument the way he would want to.
But that doesn't matter, bro. I mean, if something can help him.
Listen to me, Rock. When you know your son, you know him. I know my boy. Let's not forget of the story that I told you. When we were in my car 3 months prior to his accident, I would always tell him, hijito, si algún día algo me pasa, and I'm on a machine or que there's some technology that can help me live, I said, please let me die. You know what his response to me was? Do you remember? He said, what if I go first, Dad? And I looked at him.
Like, that ain't gonna happen.
I said, I told him, if anything were to happen to you, mijito, I go, if you were to leave this world, I would leave with you. That was my promise to my son, Jacob. When they tell him that he's got 24 hours to live, and my mind is like, Jesse Turner's got 24 hours to live. Like, I was so fucked up from my head. There's no other way to say it. I was not right. I was like, man, I got 24 hours to live. But in a bad way, like my poor mom. But I made a promise to him. A battle. You made a promise to your son. You told your son. I couldn't tell anybody these things. I was out in a park. I think it's called the park right there across HEB. I got off my car and I walked, and I was always being looked at. I was being watched over 24/7, because people knew that if they left me alone, I was going to leave. Ask me today if I would leave. No. Because in that moment when I was walking, I had a conversation with God. And my son he lived. You know, he lived.
He survived.
He survived. Not the way we wanted him to survive. We didn't want him to be the way he is today, Rock.
Nobody does, bro.
People don't know. Like, people don't. My son has like a giant hole right here. Like a crater like this.
Yeah.
People think I want to use my son to say stories. No, man. No. Talking about it is therapy.
Yeah. You can't keep it in.
You can't.
Gotta let it out, bro.
You can, because people connect with you. There's people that are asking God why, just like I was. Mm-hmm. There's people not wanting to live right now because their loved one's gone. No, man.
I mean, you do good things. You go talk to the families of like the Uvalde kids and stuff like that.
Yes.
So that's what your son is inspiring you to do.
Correct. It's inspired me to help a young man named Nathan Acosta. His talking to my other boy, which is a Marine. He didn't want to be a musician. He wanted to be a Marine. He just finished his 4-year term. I look at Michael. He goes, Dad, when are we going to work out, Dad? He can't play an instrument, but boy, will he lay down and
hit some weights
with me, and he'll take a jog with me.
It's good.
And then I think to myself, wow, how selfish I was being. Right?
You were?
I was being very selfish, but I was always, at the same time, I'm like, wow, pues, solo Dios sabe por qué pasan las cosas. My son lived, Rock. My son lived, and I lived, and if he were to go tomorrow, I would completely understand, and I would not do what I promised.
You would be reminded that he would be in a better place.
Absolutely. And I wouldn't want any Chip, if he's not going to get up and walk and do all the things he loved to be, then I don't want a chip inside of him. If it's me and I'm 70 or I'm 80 and somebody wants to pick my brain because I've completely forgotten everything, by all means, go ahead. So you can get the best stories, the best of.
I'll be right there next to you. Living forever, bro.
We'll be too way rocking. You remember in the year. These are crazy stories, man. But you know what? All this that has happened to me in my life has given me character, right? Going back to the bands, right? Fidencio, I love Fidencio. He's such a good, genuine person. But he turned in an album with songs that were already done by Ramon, which is his brother, right? I couldn't sell him.
Yeah.
For as much as I wanted to. It was so hard to sell him. But I loved this project, but we couldn't get it up and going. Right? When Jennifer came along, I saw it as another blessing. And I saw it as another great opportunity for me to help someone. Genuinely help someone.
Who wanted to get back on her feet again.
Absolutely.
After a long hiatus, and you know, you all had a beautiful thing going.
Absolutely, man.
It was pretty amazing.
And everything that we did, I don't take anything back. You know, the song we wrote, the music we made, the few moments that we got to enjoy on stage,
and the few moments that you were able to make fans happy.
Absolutely, man.
You know, because a lot of people were excited and happy
Absolutely.
about the collaboration.
Absolutely.
The tour.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, it stopped early. I mean,
it did. It stopped early. You know, she had a contract with me. She knows
she has a contract with you.
Well, she has, but it's not. I'm not gonna hold her to it, Rock. I also have my word as a man. Mi palabra de hombre. Mi palabra de hombre vale más que un pedazo de papel. I gave her my word in the car. I told her, if you're ever not happy, I promise I'll let you go. Just let's work. You know, she had different. She thought differently when it came to business. Artistically, we thought the same. We wanted the same, but financially, she had a different mindset, and her decision was what I respected. You know, and I saw the people talking horrible about me and saying things about me, and people wanted me to engage, and again, I did not entertain them.
Yeah.
I did not entertain them.
Everybody wanted to know what the hell happened.
Yeah,
bro.
Everybody wanted to know what's going on.
I mean,
and I've said this once, and I'll say it again. What would happen, Rock, if my truth would hurt her career? What would happen? And why would I want to do that to her? I would never. Like,
will your truth hurt her career or what?
I don't know. Like, she never spoke about me. Her truth hurt my career, maybe. You know, but she's respected me enough not to say anything. So I haven't said anything about her. There's nothing for me to say other than I love the song that we wrote together. I love the little time that we got to spend and the music. Perform. I loved all of that.
Man, when I saw you guys at the Bert Ogden Arena, I thought, this is great.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a nonstop 2-hour show.
Yeah.
Of music. I mean, it's a lot for your personal musicians.
Absolutely.
Because they're up there for 2 hours. You do your songs, she does her songs, and then you do songs together, and then Nathan does a little something as well.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was an amazing idea. I hadn't seen anything like it in this industry.
Mm-hmm.
And man, unfortunately, it was cut short. And
It was cut short, man.
I really wish that, she would have at least stuck it out till the end of the tour and then, move forward, whatever. Because I'm the type of person where I come from yo vengo de la idea de, aunque no estés feliz, vas a terminar lo que, what you committed yourself to.
No,
you know what I mean? Even if something happens, not unless it's something totally tragic.
No,
but, you finish what you do, and then after that, hey, que sera, sera, te watch you. You know what I mean?
No, I get it, Rock. But you know what?
Because the fans were expecting it in those cities where it was canceled. There were fans that, what happened? We bought tickets to see Jennifer and Jesse, and and they ended up not being able to ever witness it, and it was pretty sad about that.
Yeah, but you know what? It's not something that I wanted. It was not in her best business interest. So I said, okay, go find out, because I feel that she had been gone for so long. I don't think she understands. I say that, I hope I don't say it wrong. I don't think at that moment she truly understood the nature and the beast of the industry. And it's very coincidental, right? Because I open up and I tell her a lot of my truth, a lot of my feelings, personal stuff that I would not say on a podcast. And then she goes around after she goes her way and I go mine in the business. And she goes and works with the people I no longer work with.
That you will never work with again.
And all I can say is, adelante. Échale ganas.
Yeah. Well, we wish everybody the best.
Yeah. Mucho ojo.
Yeah. You have to be very vigilant. And not just in this industry where it's Tejano and Norteño and stuff. I mean, it happens in the biggest. Billy Joel was, he went through a $50 million deal where he was, from management. And it happens in the entire apparatus of the music industry.
And you know what? Es como te digo, le deseo lo mejor a todos. Like, are we a successful company as far as JT Entertainment? I mean, I don't know.
You're still a fledgling company.
I'm still.
How long have you been doing it? A year?
Yeah.
So you're just getting started.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you're learning as you grow what not to do and what to do now.
No, because we know what to do. And a lot of the mistakes were made by me. On my end, when people hurt me, it was because I trusted. When people hurt me, it was because everybody knows I wear my heart on my sleeve. And I said, yes, absolutely, yes to everything. Not knowing the consequences. And which brings me up to today. Everything is a lesson learned.
Yeah.
And
you're still growing.
I'm still growing, and it's not gonna.
Every day we learn something.
All the negative things that were said, it didn't affect me one bit.
It's fuel.
Yeah, people were asking me, did it shake you? No, I go, it shook people and it shook the industry, but it didn't. Like, I know where I stand.
Would you ever work with Jennifer again?
Absolutely. If the moment presented itself and the opportunity presented itself, absolutely, man.
Orale.
Like, music is the universal language. As long as she's gonna get whatever she wants to get, or as long as her demands are met, by all means, adelante, ¿verdad? Échale ganas. Con nosotros, we couldn't meet those demands.
Was she very demanding?
There was just, I'm not gonna get into it. There was, she wanted things. She wanted certain things. We couldn't reach those demands.
Now, you just recently recorded a Maz song.
30 years cover.
Yeah. ¿Por qué Dios mío?
Absolutely.
Why that song, man?
You know what? I've been wanting to record that song for like about 3 years. Very interesting story. And I tried it with my guitar, right? And I tried and because I wouldn't even know how to record it, right? So then I remember that we played with. Remember Chris Pettis was on. We were kind of doing some things together, some shows.
Yeah, I remember he was on one of your videos. He's one of your songs.
Yeah, so we remember I came on your show and I told you about the story that he dedicated a song to my brother, and he said para el hermano de Jesse que se murió ahí, la semana pasada. And I mean, you have to know Joe to appreciate like who he is, like, and when he said that, he sang "Porque Dios mío," right? I'm listening to the music. I'm listening to the song, and I'm just in my feelings because I lost my brother. So then I get this idea, right? We have Fidencio. I'm like, you know what? We could do the song with Fidencio. And then I thought we were going to sign Oscar Ayala for a minute. And then I remember showing the song to Oscar Ayala. I said, look, and I had Nathan sitting outside. And I said, listen to this. And I wanted to do it. I wanted it to sound somewhat to remind you of like Tragos Amargos.
Yeah.
And I play it.
That's the first thing that popped into my mind when I first heard the first accordion.
Bro, I have on my phone a video of me showing Oscar Ayala hace mucho. Like, I'm showing him, and Nathan's right there, sitting right there, and I'm showing him, this is what I want. Meanwhile, I get a text from AB wanting to do the same song, but in cumbia. And I tell him, man, I was planning to do that song.
Uh-huh.
I go, but I like yours. I go, we'll do yours. And then we went from doing that one to Yo No Fui to doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, you know what? I want to do this song and I need to do it now.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm in a good place. I feel like I'm in a good chapter of my life. And when we get off this podcast, I want to show you like about 6 songs that we have a full album. We recorded songs with Guardianes del Amor, Huracanes del Norte, with Chio from La Leyenda. We have stuff that's gonna blow your mind, but this is my first one.
Is it going to be a full album of collaborations?
It's not a full album of collaborations. It's a full album of love and music. Mm-hmm. And the first one that kicks it off is Mis Días Grises. And we didn't really go into the hard marketing of it. Honestly, I was just, I said, man, what do you want to like dip your, what's it called? What do you want to really invest into, right? And because I had Mis Días Grises and I already had Porque Dios mío right sitting on I said, I can't. I go, we need to, this is the one. This is a song that's going to change the road that Signo's headed in. Mm-hmm. You thought I was kidding, but I create scenarios in my head like where if this next album doesn't work, I start looking for plan B, which is Signo will move to the side. I will plan my retirement and say, you know what? I will make my announcement and I will, but every time I've done that, Rock, God is
too young, bro.
No, God has given me more.
Yeah.
Every time that I've set a goal for myself, God just says, no, man, you're not done. Mm-mm. You're not done. So here I am in a weird scenario where we're talking about life and death, and here's this song. Amaneciendo el día, me desperté llorando. Porque toda la noche soñé que estaba en ti. I was thinking of you. Like I was within the walls of your heart, right? Some people always say, ¿qué quiere decir? Amaneciendo el día, me desperté llorando. Soñé que toda la noche que estaba en ti. People take that wrong. No, you have to be artistic, and you were literally running through the walls of this person's heart and memories and brain and everything, right? Aquel amor tan grande que yo no olvidaría. ¿Cuál era el motivo para todo mi existir? Didn't I just talk about that earlier? Mm-hmm. Didn't I just tell you what's my purpose for existing if you've taken, not so much taken, but my son's in this situation?
The lyrics are profound.
Yeah. Y luego dice, amaneciendo el día, porque aquel amor tan grande que yo no olvidaría. ¿Cuál fue toda la causa de todo mi existir? Pero la mala suerte de que todo terminara. Ella se fue para siempre, dormida se quedó. Ahora me encuentro solo, vagando en esta vida, pidiéndole al Supremo que también muera. What did I tell you earlier?
Yeah. That's very...
Don't we all feel at one moment that we want to die because our loved one is going through something? This song, every day, someone's dying and someone's leaving this world. ¿Por qué, Dios mío? Dime por qué. It's a man that's in pain. Te la llevaste dejándome aquí. You took her like leaving me here. These people feel they lose faith, they lose their religion, they lose everything. Si yo la quise mucho, si yo la amaba tanto, ¿por qué me dejaste para luego sufrir? This song finishes in a chapter of this man's life where he was confused and lost and perhaps even upset. But I am here to tell you that even after all that, I hope that the story that you've heard today is an inspiration to your life does not end there. What ended was a chapter of your life and a piece of you that has left up into heaven, like Plácido. My son's in limbo. I call it limbo.
Your
I don't know.
stepdad?
My stepdad. I know my mom's going to leave one day too. So I try to create all these beautiful memories on social media because I want to be able to one day look back and just smile and say, I was a good son. And I have a beautiful family. And all my sisters and all my family, we're all united. I want to be able to say that. I try to help people with my company. It's not to you or to other people might not be the greatest company. But to me, it's my honesty. It's my truth. And it's me not wanting to create any pain or any hurt for anybody. And for anybody that's worked with me, if I've ever caused you any pain and problems, I'm sorry. I truly mean that. I am only human, just like you. And I'm talking to the people that I work with. If I hurt you, I'm sorry. My phone's still here. And if you ever want to call me, text me, I'm here. I'm everybody's friend. It's like I said, you know me and you know them. You know me and you know X person. I am the same guy you met 20 years ago before Signal started. The only difference is that I've somewhat created somewhat of a popularity or somewhat of a name for myself, and the circumstances are just different. I went to go see Palominos, and when I went to go see him at Silverado, I was in a corner hiding behind a speaker, not because I'm trying to hide from people. I
wanted to enjoy the moment.
I really wanted to enjoy those Palominos. Yeah. And they're like a part of my life. You know, I was in high school and I heard Me estoy enamorando de ti. You know this because you were playing it. Mm-hmm. Y es que tú no sabes amar. And I was in high school in art class, and I'm like, this would be the only class that would allow you to listen to music. I said, I want to be just like them.
Del norte al sur.
Del norte al sur. They wore their little blue things, and they were standing somewhere in front of me.
When I first heard that album, I was like, wow, who are these guys?
Bro, I was amazing.
Yeah.
I remember being mad. When they came out with Corazón de Cristal, I was like, what are they doing with the keyboard?
Yeah.
Clang.
And then they've gone through there. I mean,
absolutely.
Se salió el hermano Johnny, and he's doing his Christian music.
Absolutely.
And James, you know, he kept on. He's still going.
Man.
He did a song with Freddie Records and Elida. So
I when they finished the night, I got on the bus and I talked to them. Yeah. Talked to them for a good.
I remember them showing up to La Villarreal. In a van like yours.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man.
And they were changing clothes outside the van, ready to go open up for La Mafia.
I remember too. I mean,
we all start somewhere, no?
We all start somewhere, brother.
And then we're still here, thank God. And
absolutely,
we've had our licks, our scars, and we've been beaten up, and we've risen from ashes.
There's a very beautiful song. There's a Christian song, right? They say, Cansado del camino, sediento de ti, un desierto he cruzado, sin fuerzas he quedado, vengo a ti. Luché como soldado y a veces sufrí, y aunque la lucha he ganado, mi armadura he desgastado, vengo a ti. It's life.
Yeah.
Every day we take hits to our body and our armor. Our armor. And we've walked through this desert, which is life. And we've had ups and downs. But at the end, we've managed to understand what we didn't understand when we were 10, 20, 30, or whatever age there was that you were in confusion. Today, me and you are two grown men that understand life, that understand the struggle, the addiction, the pain, the stuff that we went through that made us
the breakups,
the things that made us be the men that we are today.
Yeah.
And
our shortcomings.
Absolutely,
Oh,
man.
man.
You know, by the time you know it, we will be gone, Rock. Me and you will be gone. And the only thing people will be able to look at are interviews like this.
I don't know, man. I might take those nanobots in the bloodstream and live forever, dude.
Well, make sure you play plenty of Signal after I'm gone, dog.
Hey, Jesse, I love you, bro.
I love
Thank
you too,
you for
brother.
coming to the show. We got to do this again,
man.
all right?
Absolutely. And de nuevo, Rock, before I leave, mis mejores deseos para cada uno de ustedes. To all the promoters, to every single person that has entered my life and has left, I wish them nothing but the best. To all the musicians that are out there struggling or succeeding, I wish you nothing but more success. And if you don't have success yet, just keep working at it. You know, it's not going to happen overnight. It takes a long time to get a song going and to get your career going, but it can happen. It can happen.
Yeah.
And thank you, Rock, for always being so informative, always giving very good interviews. You always have everybody that I talk to tells me when I went with Rock, he just gives you a very positive vibe. And I said, absolutely, man. That's my
Well, you know, I've been with you since you were playing at El Toro Dance Hall in Raymondville as a little child, man.
Yeah, González Ballroom también.
Gonzalez Ballroom.
Yeah.
Rock. But wish you nothing but the best, Jess.
Absolutely, man.
Y pues make sure to go out and check out all his music, man. All the stuff coming out. Por qué Dios mío.
Yeah, but by now the music video is probably out, but you can find this song on iTunes and Spotify. Support this song. It's called Por qué Dios mío. You know it, and if you don't know it, well, welcome to this chapter of your life, and to this new what is it, renovated song? Is that the way you say it? A song that's reinvented by tus amigos de Grupo Signo al estilo norteño.
It's an absolute classic. Thank you so much for joining us.